Greetings and welcome to the introduction to astronomy. In this week's Astronomy of Other Cultures, we are going to continue our work in Muslim astronomy and talk about Muhammad ibn Musa al-Khwarizmi and try to understand what he gave us toward our understanding of astronomy. So let's go ahead and get started. And we know that Muhammad ibn Musa al-Khwarizmi was born around 780. And he did work in several different fields, including mathematics, astronomy, and geography. So it was not just astronomy was one thing that he worked on, but also very well known for mathematics and did work in geography as well. He is well known as what is called the father of algebra and gave us some of the first ways of being able to solve systematically systems of equations. So that was one new thing. And again, we're building on the Greeks had used geometry. And now we're developing algebra. And he kind of really developed the algebra and brought that to the modern world. And that would then translate into the European culture during the Renaissance. He also spread the modern Hindu-Arabic numeral system that would eventually spread to Europe. So that would eventually come there. And that was really based on his work, and introduced a decimal based system into the Western world. So a lot of the work of mathematics really traces back to this scientist and mathematician and astronomer who gave us all of this. Because primarily before, if you look at things like Roman numerals did not really have a decimal based system and didn't even have a zero. So the understanding and being able to work mathematically with it was a lot more difficult. Now, let's also take a look at his astronomical works. And he did a lot of astronomical work, including a textbook on tables that showed the positions and motions of the sun, moon, and planets. So we have a part of that here, later then translated back into Latin and used in the Renaissance. But a lot of the work there was originally done by this astronomer, gave us all of this work, and he did a lot of things in terms of improving the calculations. So being able to better calculate, and some of that ties back into the algebra that he developed, is developing new ways. But this was also the beginning of a change in Muslim astronomy. Now we had a little bit with the first couple astronomers we talked about. Primarily they were doing a lot of translating. And then doing some work of their own. But this was kind of the change into new research. Now we're actually beginning to do new research on this type of work. So not just translating works that had been done, whether by Indian astronomers a few hundred years before this, or by the Greek astronomers even earlier, but now beginning to develop new work and new understandings of the universe, and really beginning to branch out as we're going to start to reach toward the golden age of Muslim astronomy. So let's go ahead and finish up our discussion here with our summary. And what we've looked at is Muhammad ibn Musa al-Khwarizmi lived from around 780 to 850. One of his big accomplishments is being known as the father of algebra, really developing and refining and putting all of the algebraic ideas together, making the basis of the algebra that we know today. He also completed astronomical tables and made observations which really changed science in the Muslim world from a translation based and building just on what the Greeks and Indian astronomers had done previously, to really developing a whole new branch of astronomy within the Muslim world. So that concludes this discussion on Muhammad ibn Musa al-Khwarizmi. We'll be back again next week to talk about another astronomer of the Muslim world. So until then, have a great day, everyone, and I will see you in class.